Have you ever found yourself trying to juggle multiple responsibilities but feeling overwhelmed by all of them? I understand, and Jesus does too. And he addresses that very issue in today's lectionary gospel passage. The passage is from Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 24. The crux of the matter is priorities. It's important to remember that this passage comes from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. The Sermon on the Mount is where Jesus offers spiritual wisdom to help people with everyday life, to help them grow in their relationship with God and with one another. Chapter 6 of Matthew zeroes in particularly on one issue, and that is, don't be a hypocrite. Don't pretend that you're more than you are. Don't pretend to have the world figured out. Don't pretend to be the most moral individual who has ever lived. He talks about storing things in heaven, the kingdom of heaven. For Matthew, the kingdom of heaven is not a pie in the sky idea. It's much like the other gospel writers who say the kingdom of God has come among us. For Matthew, the kingdom of heaven is with us now in the person of Jesus. What he's saying there is store up treasures in heaven, in the kingdom of God, in the now. Do the right thing in the right way at the right time. Live moral, like the Sermon on the Mount, and live humbly before your God. And when you do that, you are storing up treasures in heaven. When we store those treasures in the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven, we are rewarded for it in the now. How do I know? Because it's an issue of priorities. Priorities change our lives. They change our souls. They change our stories. They change our families and our communities. So last Sunday, I was going home. It was 7, 8 o'clock at night. It was dark already. Had my lights on. And I'm heading up 231, and all of a sudden, I'm almost in the back of this truck, this late 80s, early 90s pickup truck that's rusted to high heaven. How? Because there's no tail lights on the truck at all. So I get on the brakes trying to prevent a catastrophe, and all of a sudden I understand the issue of priorities in a new and wonderful and passionate and glorious way. What changed? Out of the back of the truck comes flying a 24-pack cardboard case of Pabst Blue Ribbon. And at that moment I understand priorities. Store up for yourselves treasures of peace. Live according to the Sermon on the Mount, and you will live in the kingdom of God because your priorities are in the right place. We are rewarded spiritually for having our priorities focused on God, love God, and our neighbors, love your neighbors as yourselves. So here's the real application for this. Here's where it comes home to us. This is really about idol worship or the worship of God. It's not about money nearly as much as what holds your heart. Do treasures on earth hold your heart, or do the treasures in the kingdom of God, giving to the kingdom of God, does that rule the day for you? You see, here's the deal. The treasures that we have in life, they expose what we really believe and what we really think. As one pastor used to say, if you want to know what someone believes in, then look at their checkbook. It really does beg a question of us. How will we treat the many blessings that God has given us? What about money management? How do we approach that subject? Do we believe in tithing and giving back to God? Or will we do the difficult task of, when we plan our wills, consider the last act that we offer a church being a gift? The whole passage is about what are we going to do with our priorities. Are they focused on the kingdom of God, or are they focused on the kingdom of self? And with that, remember that you are loved. Be at peace. Or Taylor Swift?
She's a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, well, she needs to come give some money to St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. That's God's call on her life. Yeah. That's where Jesus, what did you say?
I'm going to move this so I can actually see.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and move that. Okay, man, I'm waiting. Just waiting on you, Rog. Okay, are we good now?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Let's just tell the truth. Nobody likes the moral police. I don't even know, I can't read a thing that I've written. So we'll cut that.